Good morning. We're gonna do some foraging today. I've got some old file steel out there. I just annealed. It's still in the heat treat forge. It'll take it a couple hours to cool down, but we're gonna start on the Beaver knife, and then I'll get to those. Now I have some high carbon steel, and this is 3/32. Right there. It says knife steel. That's what it's made for. And I have some 1/8 inch high carbon. Now the rest of this is a 10-piece kitchen set that we'll get to in the next couple of weeks. But this piece, the last Beaver knife that I forged, and we're going to go through it again on this one. Whoop, hang on. We're having tripod issues here. The last one I did for Big Bear was 1/8 inch. It's a little bit thicker. It's a real heavy knife. Now he likes it, but it may be a little heavy, so this is just a little bit lighter. Just as good, just a little bit lighter. Now before I go light the forge and start beating on it, I want to get my rough shape for what I want it to look like. Now also the last steel I used was 1.5 inches, and this is 2 inch, so I'm going to have to trim some of it off. So we want our handle to come in here somewhere like that. Let's see, make sure you can see what I'm doing. And then this blade is going to sharply curve, which that'll happen in the forge. I'm not going to cut. I'm going to just knock off an edge, but the blade curvature and this end will be rounder like this. All that'll happen in the forge. But to make it simply a little simpler, I'm going to trim off this on the power saw, and I'll just knock these corners off probably. And then if we need to trim it up any more, then I can trim it up some more. I'm going to cut that, light the forge, and I'll see you outside. And it's going to rain, so it should be an interesting day. Alright, steel is in the fire. I'm going to set the camera down over here when it gets hot, and I'll just start beating on it. And I'll try to explain what I'm doing if you can hear me. I hope so. If not, a lot of noise out here. It's real windy. And rain's coming. Y'all remember my vent pipe on the forge leaks. So I got to do what I can do quick as I can do it. So I'll be glad when I get the new forging area fixed over there. Alright, I'm just going to let it run for a minute. Well, that's getting hot. I spent a few minutes this morning. My hammer, my ball peen, got rounded. I had to flatten it back out. That helps out flattening. Didn't get it hot enough that time. Right, this is going to take a while. When I get down to the final beating and banging, I'll turn the camera back on. I don't want to bore y'all with all this waiting for it to get hot. Alright, that's where I want it, right there. I'm going to let it cool, and the rest of it will be grinder work. And it's going to look pretty good, I think. Because what I've done, I've just drawn it, flattened it out here. And I brought that edge down from the original thickness. It's not too sharp, but it's not far. But that way I don't have to do a lot of grinding. All I gotta do is put the shape to it a little bit better. And that. So I'm gonna put it right over here. Let it cool. Now I'm gonna include in this video, I'm gonna go ahead and start forging on another one of these files. One like this will be available. And I'm going to try to do a couple more today while I got the fire going. This first one is going to be mine. I'm ready for a new knife. I've carried this camp knife for a long time. And I want something different. So I'm going to make me something different. Alright, just stay tuned and I'll show you here in a little bit. Now, before we get started on this one, there's my camp knife. Now I like this size right here. That's most camp knives are a little bit, got more of a belly to them. I like mine just a little smaller with a 4-inch blade. So what I'm going to do, that blade there, and I'm going to put me a reference mark. Just like that. That's how big I want my blade. That'll keep me from having to stop and measure and burn my hands and all that kind of stuff. Alright, let's get it hot and start beating and banging again. Okay, it's just continue on, carry on until I get it to where I want it. And I'll show you what it looks like here in a little bit. Alright, I'm getting close. That's my blade right there, my blade length. And I just need to work on this a little more. I may do that on the grinder. Do the upsweep a little bit. Because file steel is not very forgiving. You can only heat it so many times and you risk starting to get cracks in it. No, it's not a crack there. It looks okay, but one more heat. We'll thin this edge out just a little bit more, and then it'll be ready for the grinder. Alright, back to the Beaver knife. I'm going to put it on the little belt grinder. I'm going to finish shaping it. I already drilled the holes for the handles, for the scales. And get the blade etching done. Not too far away. Alright, show you just a little bit of this. Noise alert, watch your ears. Alright, there you go. There is a Big Bear Beaver knife in the raw. Put it that way. Now, I'm going to clean off the blade just a little bit so I can etch it, put the maker's mark in there. Then I will get the grind set. Remember, these are sharp all the way around. I'm going to grind that. Not a whole lot of grinding to do because I beat it out so flat. That was the whole purpose for that. And, pardon me, I'll show you some more in a little while. Alright, blade etching's done on the Beaver knife. Now, I'm going to do my grind, the preliminary, that's the word, first grind on it. I've already done a little bit on the end here. I'm going to do the first grind. Get it ready for heat treat. And while I'm grinding, I will also do this one. Now there's an interesting story about this one, this old file here, the name branded on. I'll tell you about that later as I get it finished. But the focus today is the Beaver knife. And I'm just doing, it's easier to do two at one time than just one at one time. Alright, watch your ears. Noise alert. Now, let me explain what I just did right quick. Now, that's the first grind to get the sharpened edge. Now, I've got a lot more grinding to do because I left it pretty thick. Now, you have to do that when you're heat treating, because the thinner it is, the more likely it's going to crack on you. So that's why I left it thick, and I'll do the final grind, final sharpening, all that goes at one pass. And you got to be very, very persnickety about that so you don't crack it. Because I've got probably 4 or 5 hours work into this one blade, and one mistake, crack, and you're done. Throw it away, start again. Let's hope that don't happen. It has happened. On Paul's throwing knife I mentioned the other day, it happened there. So. But it does happen. It's just a thing. So that one's ready for heat treat. Now I'm going to heat treat in the forge, since I already got a fire going in the big forge, which is always a chancy thing too, because you can't get it too hot. But I'll deal with that, and I'll go ahead and take the camera out there and show you that. Now this one, the one that is mine, maybe, unless somebody just got to have it. This is a Kern and Foot made in the USA file. Now, I know you can't see that. I still got to clean it off a little bit better. Now on the opposite side I etched a W. I didn't put USA because USA is already over here. Here on this section here, when there's not anything there, that's called the ricasso. So on the ricasso I put my maker's mark right there. Alright, this will have one single steel pin, and it will have antler handle. It's already pre-drilled that, because when I heat treat it, the steel is going to be so hard I can't drill a hole in it. Been there and done that. So that's why you do that first. But I'm going to take the grind down. I'm going to leave the file marks there because I want to know that that's what it was. It was an old file. I'm going to leave the original company's maker's mark. Now the research I did, let me get my note here. Nicholson bought Kernian foot in 1901. Alright, they continued to sell knives under the K&F brand until 1972. Now this has a K&F right there, but it also says Kernian foot, made in USA. I can't find any more information on it. So at the very least, it's a 1972, and I would probably guess way before that. I do not remember exactly who sent me this one. This is one that got sent in a box. I don't remember exactly where it came from, but it could be the late 1800s, and it could be up to 1972. But anyway, Kernian Foot, another great American tool company, not here anymore. But now this is just half the file. I've got the other half still too. So it appears to be very good steel, and I'm going to do the grind on this one right quick, and I'll wait and show you this one when it's finished. Alright, let's do some heat treating. Now some of y'all seen this before, but we're going to do it again. Now, I've got a piece of scrap rebar in here. I've got to heat my oil. I've got it getting hot, and I'm going to go ahead and heat the oil. And I'm going to heat the beaver knife blade and get it hot and quench it. And I'm just going to leave the camera running. So, here we go. Alright, I want to heat that oil. And this is vegetable oil. I want to heat it. So when I heat the blade and put it in there, you don't want to put it in cold oil, because it'll shock it and give a good chance that it'll break, especially in the cool weather like this. Alright, that should be good. Put that down there for next time. Now sometimes I'll do these 2 at a time or 3 at a time, but because I don't want any problems, I don't want to take any chances, we're going to do them 1 at a time. Sure it's straight. Dang, that's hot. Okay, I see a warp. Now we're straight and quench. And let's look at it here. That is straight. With this thinner metal, that's what you got to worry about it warping, especially in this forge here, because it's so much hotter. That's why I like, for the most part, I like the propane forge better. Alright, let that cool. I'm going to do the same thing to the file knife. Alright, knives are out of the tempering oven. Whoops. I'm very happy with that. Now most of this forge scale is going to stay on there. I will clean it up a little bit with by hand with some sandpaper. But now I'm going to get ready to put the handles on. I'm going to put it on the sander and clean off the tang here. And a hidden tang on the other one. I'm going to clean that off. I'm going to mix the epoxy and get everything glued up. Now we're going to end today and call this part 1. And I'll do part 2 tomorrow. Or tomorrow, Sunday, or Monday. Now the Beaver knife it's a very nice knife. It's going to be very nice. But the thing with this one is going to be the sheath. The sheath is going to be tanned beaver tail, which I think I showed those in a video a while back. That was a deal with, I traded beaver tails for the knife and the sheath. And we'll do that. Now on the website, the Beaver knife, I have not changed the name yet. It's going to be changed to the Big Bear Beaver knife. I have not got around to it. Because I told y'all a bunch of times, Ricky Jr. runs a website. I have no idea how to change things on there, even wordings or prices or anything. So he handles all that for me. Tomorrow we have our annual family Christmas, Halloween party. Not Christmas, Halloween party. And I'll talk to him about it tomorrow. And see if he can't get some stuff changed and some stuff added on there for me. Because I don't, just like yard work and all, people say, why don't you get your boys to help you? Well, they've got their own lives to live. They've got their own families, and you know they're grown. They're adults. That's why, you know, I don't bother them a whole lot unless it's just something I've got to have help with. Like the website, I don't understand all that techno stuff. So, but he'll do it for me. He just got to get time. Because he works a full-time job, very high-level job with the county. Plus, he has a business on the side that he runs, so he'll get to it. And what else am I gonna say today? I think that's it. Get these done. Now, I was talking about earlier about high-end goods. This one will be an example of a high-end good when I get done with it. And I will get these glued up. And I will see y'all in the next video. But we have a intruder.
Hey everybody. I was trying to be stealthy and quiet. You could have kept going.
It didn't work, did it?
Nope. Didn't work.
Well, you in my toolbox. What are you after?
I am. I'm stealing things.
What are you after?
Oh, fancy stuff. Oh.
Pliers. They're in that drawer right there.
Thank you.
You know where them pliers came from, right?
No. Sears?
Sears, yeah. 40 years ago. You know where they go back when you get done, right?
Right there.
Speaking of Joseph and tools in my square that got left outside,
What square?
it is all cleaned up now and hanging back over there where it's supposed to be.
I must be a square.
You sure that wasn't you?
When did I have a square?
Somebody left my square out there on the sink.
I don't believe me out
That wasn't you?
there. Wasn't me?
That wasn't you?
Wasn't me?
Who was it? Ricky
Maybe. I don't know.
or Steven?
I don't use your square for anything.
You sure? All right.
Last thing I did at the sink was chopping that wood that day.
No. Well, that's the day I had to bring the axe back out here.
Man,
Yeah. So you left my axe out there.
that I did do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Bye, everybody.
All right. I got him. I caught him. Anyway, I mess with them boys every chance I get. So he did leave my square out there. So anyway, it's all cleaned up and ready to go. Anyway, that's the baby boy. That's Joseph. All right, I'm gonna get this glued up so it can dry overnight, and that's gonna be it for today. I thank y'all for watching. I thank you for your support. It's almost dark. I'm very tired, and I'm fixing to go in. Thank you for watching.